Forbes what the end of the penny means for consumers. On November 12, 2025, U.S. Treasurer Brandon Beach stepped up to a steel control panel in the penny room of the Philadelphia Mint and sent the final batch of 1-cent coins clinking into a tray. With that, the penny was officially on its deathbed. No new pennies will be minted and the supply will dwindle as old ones disappear into forgotten piggy banks, sofa cushions, and junk drawers. Beach is a President Trump appointee from May 2025 and credited Trump's quote, common sense agenda for eliminating the penny. Treasurer Beach called it a historic moment as it is the first time since 1857 that the US has retired a circulating coin. The penny has been around for nearly as long as the country. Just a few years after the US Constitution was officially ratified, the new government went to work hammering out the details for the new country. That included passing the Coinage Act of 1792, which ordered the minting of gold, silver, and copper coins. The first pennies, made in 1793, were made of pure copper. In 1857, the penny got smaller and cheaper to make with a composition of 88% copper and 12% nickel. However, modern pennies were made of 97.5% zinc with a 2.5% copper plating. Even with less copper used in the penny, the economics weren't making much sense. Rising metal prices and other costs meant the mint was losing money on every penny produced, about 3.69 cents per coin. At the same time, demand for small change was decreasing. Americans aren't reaching into their pockets to pay with coins anymore. Instead, they're swiping, clicking, and tapping their way through purchases. Beach said in Philadelphia, quote, each penny costs more to make than it's worth. Ending production saves taxpayers an estimated $56 million a year. Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent had already formally ordered the Philadelphia and Denver mints to stop production, following an order from President Trump. With the penny's demise, the big question is, what happens now at the cash register? It feels like it would be simple. For cash sales, totals should now be rounded to the nearest 5 cents, either up if the purchase ends in 0.03 or 0.04, or down if the purchase ends in 0.01 or 0.02. Of course, that's for cash only. For card and digital transactions, nothing changes and amounts remain exact to the cent. But it may not be that easy. At least 10 states and localities have cash laws intended to ensure cash customers are not disadvantaged compared to those using electronic payment methods, which would essentially prevent businesses from rounding cash transactions up or down. Earlier this year, the National Association of Convenience Stores, or the NACS, sent a letter to the Senate Banking and House Financial Services Committees calling on lawmakers to establish a national law to allow rounding so that businesses aren't breaking laws. That hasn't happened yet. Rounding up prices for cash but not credit could cause confusion at the register for sales tax and potentially spur some litigation. Consumers may question whether it's fair to pay more sales tax for cash purchases. And it's not just state and local laws that could be problematic. The NACS also suggested that the rounding for cash customers could violate the terms of the Supplemental Nutrition Assistance Program, or SNAP. Studies from Canada, which retired its penny in 2012, show that rounding evens out over time. But a study published with the Federal Reserve Bank of Richmond earlier this year said those studies lead to mixed conclusions. Using data from the 2023 DCPC, a Federal Reserve-sponsored survey that tracks real payments from a nationally representative sample of consumers, estimated that rounding tax to round cash transactions to the nearest 5 cents could cost U.S. consumers approximately $6 million annually. It's unclear whether Trump had the power to unilaterally eliminate the penny, since currency specifications are dictated by Congress. And while the penny may be gone from the production lines, it will stay put, at least for a little while. There are still an estimated 250 billion pennies in circulation, according to the American Bankers Association.